All right, ready to dive in. Today we're looking at something a little different.
Yeah, this one's kind of fun.
It is a fictional podcast, Conversations in English.
See, I told you.
But stick with me on this, all right? It's more than just entertainment.
It is, yeah. It's like a sneaky way to learn.
Right. We're going to be dissecting an episode
That is good.
with Alex. He's the main guy.
Non-native English speaker, right?
Exactly. Exploring New York. And the episode takes place in Central Park.
So like the classic New York experience.
And we're basically shattering him, eavesdropping, but in a good way.
For science.
Yeah, for language learning, for culture. Maybe we even pick up a few tips ourselves.
Oh, for sure. All those subtle things help people really talk.
Okay, so episode starts. Alex is on a morning walk,
Nice, peaceful.
and bam, he bumps into someone, random stranger.
Happens all the time in the city.
And they have this, 2-second chat about the weather.
Super simple.
Right, you'd think so, but there's so much to unpack there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's like language learning 101.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's universal, right? Commenting on the weather.
True, everyone does it.
Doesn't matter where you're from. Safe, easy way to start AIM-wide conversation.
It's like dipping your toe in the water before you jump in the pool.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah?
And even though Alex is, still figuring out English,
Yeah, you can hear it.
he's got the AS, the very nice, a little hesitant,
Total newbie.
but that's normal. That's what we call interlanguage.
Fancy words.
At that in-between stage, like you're building a bridge from your native language to the new one.
Makes sense.
And those stumbles, those are actually like signs of progress.
So it's okay to sound a little awkward.
More than okay.
Yeah.
It's about getting your point across.
Yeah.
Communicating.
Yeah, not about being perfect.
And you know what's amazing? These early chats, even the messy ones,
They matter.
they're huge EE. It's how you develop what we call communicative competence.
Another one.
It's not just grammar, not just words. It's using the language out in the world.
Like actually talking to people.
Exactly. Like, think about learning to ride a bike.
Oh, I'm getting flashbacks.
Huh.
Huh.
You're wobbly at first, but each time you get a little better, right?
Until you're like, popping wheelies.
Yeah, maybe not that far, but you get it.
I do. Confidence builds with practice.
Yes. And those little successes, early on, they're what keeps you going.
Okay, so Alex survives the weather chat. Feeling good.
Level up.
He heads to a coffee stand. Gotta get that caffeine fix.
The quintessential New York experience.
Right. But even that is a learning opportunity.
Oh, big time. Think about it. It's navigating a whole new culture.
Figuring out sizes, prices, the whole deal.
Plus all those key phrases. I'd like, please. What do you recommend?
Oh, man, I've been there in a foreign country trying to order coffee.
Stressful.
It feels like a test, even if it's just a latte.
But see, these little everyday things, they're like scripts.
Scripts, like a
Yeah.
movie.
Kind of. Like pre-programmed conversations. They help things run smoothly.
So if you know the script, you're good.
You're fluent. At least for that situation.
Makes me think of, what was it, register. We talked about that before.
Yes. How we change our language depending on who we're talking to.
Right, you talk to your boss differently than your friends.
Exactly.
Oh.
And the coffee shop scene.
Yeah.
Alex is being polite, formal,
Can I please have a...
perfect example
It's appropriate, right?
for that context.
It's like shifting gears depending on the road you're on.
And as you learn more, you get better at those shifts. You know when to be formal, when to be casual.
So we've got whether small talk, we've got coffee shop ordering.
What's next for Alex?
This is where it gets good. He meets a street performer.
Ooh, interesting.
And now he's not just reacting, he's starting the conversation.
He's asking the performer about his music. Bold move.
He's getting confident, finding his voice, literally.
Love it. And, there's this beautiful parallel, right?
Between the music and the language.
Think about it. The performer is sharing his art.
And Alex is sharing his attempt at English.
Both of them are overcoming fear, expressing themselves, connecting with an audience.
They're both on stage, in a way.
And just like the performer needs practice, Alex needs to keep practicing his English.
It's all about that journey, the ups and downs.
And remember, mistakes are part of it. Some theories even say that's how we learn best.
Messing up is good.
Well, messing up and then figuring out what went wrong. That's gold.
So, oops moments are actually helpful.
Data points.
Mm-hmm.
And they show us something else, this idea of interlanguage fossilization.
Okay, that sounds scary.
It's not that bad. It
Okay.
just means sometimes learners get stuck at a certain level.
Because they're comfortable with their mistakes.
Exactly. But if you notice those mistakes, you can break free.
Keep pushing forward.
So we've seen Alex do small talk, coffee orders, even a deep conversation about music.
He's had quite a day.
He has. And now the episode ends with Alex reflecting on it all.
And the narrator sums it up perfectly.
All those little interactions, they add up, you know?
They give you a sense of, like, accomplishment.
And that makes you want to keep going. It's a snowball effect.
Each chat gives you more momentum.
This is what psychologists call self-efficacy, believing you can actually do it.
So the more Alex talks to people, the more he believes he can talk to people.
And that makes him want to learn more. It's a cycle.
So it's not just learning the words, it's believing you can use them.
That's it. And, you know, this applies to anything you're learning.
Yeah.
An instrument, a new sport, anything.
Before we go any further, I want to ask our listeners something. Think about something you're learning right now. What are those little wins, those moments that make you want to keep going?
Hold on to that thought because we're going to unpack all of this.
We'll be right back. Back again. And we've got tons of questions from our listeners, all about learning a language through, well, fake scenarios.
Makes sense. It's a bit unusual.
It is. So first one up, does this actually work? Learning from fiction, I mean.
That's the big question, isn't it? How we learn best.
And does it work?
It can. It's like, think of it as a safe space.
Okay.
You can try out the language without, you know, the
Like,
pressure.
nobody's judging you.
Exactly. No real-time responses, no awkward silences.
Like you can mess up all you want.
As much as you need to. Try different phrases, tones of voice, all
Even
of
like
it.
a dress rehearsal before the real show.
I like that. And another thing, good fiction. It's designed to teach you.
Oh, so it's not just random conversations.
Nope. The writers often sneak in specific vocabulary, grammar.
So it's like there's a teacher hidden in the story.
Kinda. And the best part, it's fun. Way more engaging than a textbook.
Okay, that's true. Textbooks are not exactly thrilling.
Exactly. A good story keeps you hooked. You want to learn more without even realizing it.
Okay, next question. What if I'm not going to New York anytime soon?
Ah, yeah. Does it still apply?
That's what the listener's asking. Can they still get something out of it?
Absolutely. The core stuff, it's universal, right?
Yeah.
Communication, connecting with people.
So, like, even if I'm not in Central Park, I can learn from Alex's chats.
You got it. Think about the coffee shop scene.
My favorite part.
It's in New York, sure, but that basic interaction, greetings, ordering, paying,
That happens everywhere.
coffee shops, restaurants all over the world.
It's like once you know the steps, you can dance to any music.
Love that. The setting changes, but the core steps stay the same.
Okay, this next one's interesting. Isn't small talk kind of useless?
Oh, I get this one a lot.
Yeah, like we dismiss it, right? Just superficial chit-chat.
But here's the thing.
There's more to it.
Way more. It's the glue. It's what makes social interaction work.
Like you got to warm up before the big game.
Precisely. Small talk builds that rapport, those connections.
And it avoids those awkward silences when you first meet someone.
Huge. It shows you understand the culture, the social rules.
And honestly, even chatting about the weather or like the news.
You learn a lot about a culture's values, what they care about.
So it's not just words, it's culture too.
Exactly. Those unspoken rules, indirect communication, politeness cues.
Humor. Wow, there's a lot going on under the surface.
And for language learners,
Yeah.
mastering that stuff. That's how you really connect with native speakers.
That's deeper than just grammar, huh?
It's about fitting in, understanding the vibe.
All right, this one's a bit different. How does learning a new W language change how I see my own and culture?
Whoa, now that's deep.
I know, right? Never thought of it that way.
It's like learning another language holds up a mirror
To your own.
to your own culture, yeah. You start seeing things you never noticed before.
Like what?
Things you take for granted. How your language shapes how you think,
Because we all just assume our way is the way.
right? Until you see a different way, and then, bam, it's like waking up.
It's like stepping outside of yourself.
Exactly. You see your own culture from the outside, and you notice those little quirks.
So learning a new language also teaches you about your old E language.
It's a double win. And it's part of what makes language learning so amazing.
It's not just a skill. It changes how you see the world.
And yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, last one before we move on. Any other ways to learn a language besides, the usual stuff?
Textbooks, classes, all that.
Ditch the textbooks. The world is your classroom.
Love that.
Seriously, immerse yourself. Movies, TV shows, music, even social media.
All in the language you're learning, of course.
Find online groups, language partners. Make it fun.
So it's about making it part of your life, not just a separate thing.
And most importantly, find what works for you. Some
Mm.
people like classes, some like learning solo. Experiment.
So ditch the flashcards, go explore. we've talked a lot about language
A
learning,
lot.
but now we got to connect it back to, well,
To
everyone.
our own lives, right?
Right.
What can we learn from all this, even if we're not language learners?
It's time to bring it all home. We've focused on language, but these ideas.
They go way beyond that, don't they?
Think about Alex, right? Walking through the park. It wasn't like some big dramatic
Yeah.
thing.
Well, no, not at all.
Just these like little chats, little moments.
And that's what's so powerful, I think.
It is, makes you realize we get so hung up on like mastery.
Right. It's got to be this huge effort, tons of time.
And Alex, he shows us that progress. It can be like bite-sized.
Exactly. It's like that old saying, a journey of 1,000 miles.
Starts with a single step.
There you go. Every conversation, every time you try a new phrase, it's a step.
I like that. Especially for people who get like intimidated.
Oh, yeah. Learning something new can be scary.
It is. But you don't have to be perfect right away. Just gotta start.
Those first steps, those early wins, that's what keeps you going.
It's more about mindset than anything, huh?
100%. It's like shifting from I can't to I can try.
And that's, what is it, the growth mindset.
There it is. Your abilities, they're not set in stone. You can always grow.
Alex, even though his English wasn't perfect, he had that.
Oh, yeah. He was all about it.
Didn't let the fear stop him. Every chat was a chance to learn.
And by the end,
Oh.
it's not just the language, right?
No, it's like his whole attitude changed.
Confidence, willingness to, like, put himself out there.
So cool to see. Learning does that, I think.
It does. It's not just the facts, the skills. It's like you open up.
To new experiences, new
The
people.
world becomes bigger.
All right, before we wrap up, one last time, remember that question we asked?
About those small wins.
Yeah, those things that keep you motivated, whatever you're working on.
Don't forget those. They're important.
Celebrate them. They're proof you're moving forward.
And you know what else? Be open to those little learning moments. They're everywhere.
Like where?
A chat with a coworker, a documentary you watch, an article that makes you think.
You're saying don't just go through the motions, pay attention.
Exactly. Be curious, ask questions, and have fun with it.
Because you never know what you might discover.
That's the beauty of it.
Well, folks, that's a wrap for this deep dive. Hope you enjoyed it.
It was a fun one.
It was. Learning from a fictional podcast, who knew?
See? Told you.
You did. Until next time, keep those brains working and keep those conversations going.